Welcome back to the Means Report, continuing now with the topic of pit bulls as we move into our second segment. They've been in the news a lot over the past few years, but especially lately as Douglasville, Georgia attempted to ban pit bulls. But Douglasville is not alone in its concern about those controversial dogs. Is it nature or is it nurture? Are they meant to be mean, or do we make them mean by the way we bring them up? We want to take a look at what's going on in Ohio as communities there face the issue of pit bulls. Then we'll hear from an expert here in our own neck of the woods.
His bark is much worse than his bite, according to the owner of American Bulldog Ghost. He doesn't bite and is actually very friendly.
If you treat the dog with respect and you train that dog, it is going to be man's best friend. If you abuse it, you don't train it, it's going to be a time bomb.
That scenario played out for Irene Van Fossen, walking her dog Samson in April. She says a neighbor's pit bull got loose.
And I saw the dog charge at me, so I immediately put my dog's head under my arm so that it wouldn't go for his neck.
Instead, Irene says it got his hind quarter and eventually Irene's face too, before the ordeal was finally over. Today, she showed us the pit bull is declared vicious. Still, after all of this,
like I said, I'm not a pit bull ban person. I think any dog that hurts anyone should be banned.
Miller's worried that passing ban ordinances punishes obedient dogs and responsible owners.
Well, there's a lot of problems with responsible owners, but that doesn't have to do with a specific breed. I see a lot of dogs running loose in my neighborhood. None of them are pit bulls.
$725 later, both Irene and Samson are on the road to recovery. They are getting restitution from the pit bull owner. Eventually, voters may have to decide.
And I don't believe that if it were up to the voters, I don't believe that it would pass. I believe that they would say we do not want breed-specific legislation.
In Whitehall, Marcus Thorpe, NBC4.
All right, similar story out of Douglasville, Georgia, where they've talked about a ban on pit bulls but haven't come close to passing such an ordinance. What is your opinion of pit bulls? Should they be banned, or is this just a nature versus nurture thing and we can all make them sweet if we raise them in kind, loving homes? It's a question we put to our Facebook fans, and we got quite a lot of answers. Take a look at some of the responses that came in when we put that question, like Amy Lloyd, who responds by telling us, I believe pit bulls should be banned. It doesn't matter if they have a good owner, Amy says. We had one by the name of Charlie, and check that, by the name of Willie, and I'll read Amy's to you in just a moment. I can see that we have Billy Neal's response first, which is, I've worked around pit bulls at the Humane Society, and they all were well behaved, so they should not be banned. Billy, thank you so much for your comments. A lot of people responded on Facebook, and we appreciate their input on this controversial issue. Back to Amy's comment very quickly. She said that she believes pit bulls should be banned. It doesn't matter if they have a good owner. We had one by the name of Willie. One day he just snapped and locked onto another dog, and my dad held the back of his legs for 30 minutes trying to get him to let go. He was put to sleep, and they all should be put to sleep, in my opinion. So Billy and Amy, we appreciate your comments very much. We have Gary Willoughby here with us. He's no stranger to the Means Report. He's been with us before. He's the director of the Aiken Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And Gary, for all you do for our furry friends, I want to thank you and welcome you back to the Means Report.
Thank you very much, Brad.
Do you ever see pit bulls in your shelter, and do they cause problems?
Sure. We see quite a few pit bulls in our shelter. We take in over 1,500 animals every year, as well as spay or neuter 2,500 more, and quite a few of the ones that are picked up running loose are pit bulls or pit bull mixes.
Do they cause trouble?
I wouldn't say in general that you can say any one particular breed causes trouble or more. A lot of it's based on the owners and how they've cared for the animal. A lot of the ones that the animal control officers find have been ones that have been just let to run loose in the neighborhood, and so those aren't the ones that necessarily come from the best backgrounds.
A ban on pit bulls is certainly a far-reaching step. You've heard from other communities. What have you picked up on as far as whether a ban is something that they're considering, or if it would even ever work or be passed?
Sure, there are a few cities in the country, places like Denver and I believe Cincinnati, Ohio, that have had bans for years, and they've seen a reduction, of course, in the number of pit bulls in their shelters. It's not something widely supported by animal welfare organizations. We don't believe there's any one particular breed that's any more prone to violence or negative activity than the other particular breed. It's so much more of it's in the owners that end up being responsible.
Well, you know, a lot of people do think that it's just a few cases that have been portrayed or covered by the media, and that we see those stories like the ones we just saw, and it makes us all hate pit bulls. Do you think that's true?
I think it's easy to find some, some examples that are very heart-wrenching when you see someone who's been the victim of a dog bite attack, no matter what breed. And if pit bulls, if that's the latest trend. When I was very young, it was German Shepherds that we were kind of taught to be afraid of, and then next it was Doberman Pinschers, and then Rottweilers, and if, in my opinion, if you were to ban pit bulls, folks that were interested in having a tough trophy-type dog would just find another breed, and they would overbreed those as well, and you just have the next generation of dog.
Would you consider a ban cruelty to animals? After all, that is your mission, to prevent that. Is it cruel to the dog itself?
I believe so. I think, again, if an animal has exhibited negative behavior and the owner can't take care of them or keep them on their property, that's one thing. But just a blanket statement saying that any one particular animal is vicious and shouldn't be in that community I don't think is right.
You have been around long enough to probably tackle this nature versus nurture thing. For all dogs, haven't you seen all breeds come from bad homes and turn out to be mean dogs?
Oh, absolutely. From my earliest childhood, my brother was viciously attacked by a Dalmatian.
A Dalmatian?
A Dalmatian, and I've seen other people that have been attacked by small dogs. Small dogs are much more likely to bite statistically than some of the larger breeds, the Chihuahuas. They may not cause the same amount of damage that a large dog may do, but again, it's so, you can't ever guess for sure when an animal comes into a shelter. That's why we do temperament testing, and we really make sure, especially on a medium or large sized dog, that we can trust that. My gauge is what I trusted in my own home before we put it up for adoption, and so no matter what the breed.
Should we be afraid to pet a pit bull if we see one being walked down the street versus any other dog?
I think in general, any breed, no matter what, I think you should always, it's good form to ask the owner first for permission to pet the animal. Many animals are very friendly but may be shy of strangers in public, and it doesn't matter if they don't know who you are. They may feel like you're going after their owner and may try to protect their owner, no matter if it's a little dog or a large dog.
When you see people adopt pit bulls, and I know that they do because you were going to bring a pit bull to the Means Report today, but it fortunately did get adopted.
Yes.
Why do people want them? Or do they say?
It's a variety of factors. Some people, just like any particular breed, they have their favorite breeds, and for a lot of folks that is a pit bull. Some folks feel safe when they're walking one, so it may feel more secure. People that are living alone. Some people, they're very athletic dogs, so people that like to exercise a lot, they like to go jogging with one. Many people that have small children swear by them, and
really?
They're very protective of their children as well too. My own brother's had several in his lifetime, and he has small children and love the breed very much. And so it just depends on their personal experience, maybe what they were raised with. And what we always try to emphasize, I say a pit bull is not a starter dog. It shouldn't be the first animal you ever own. It's just like you wouldn't buy the biggest Harley Davidson on your first motorcycle.
Right.
I mean, they are energetic, they're powerful, they need training, so they need someone who's going to put the time into it to make sure it's a good fit for both the family and the animal.
But you've seen people of all ages adopt them, it sounds like.
Absolutely, yes. There are senior citizens that like pit bulls, to very young people that maybe they were raised with them, and when they get their own first place, they want to have a pit bull, and some have several. We have our community dog washes. We have quite a few that people are very proud of their pit bulls that bring them there and have them washed and supporting our organization. And it's for a lot of folks, that's the breed they really, really like.
Did you find that after the Michael Vick story broke and started to really get a lot of attention, that people had a big soft spot in their heart for pit bulls because of those abused dogs, and your adoptions may have increased?
I believe you always see that whenever there's a case, something like that. First there's anger in general when any animal's injured and are put in that kind of condition, and so yes, you do get an outpouring of support for folks that want to. They realize that, again, it was the situation those animals were put in. It wasn't the animal itself, and so they come down to the shelter, and it's something that they come down and specifically ask for that type of breed of dog.
What is the Fur Ball, and why are you having it?
Fur Ball is going to be on October 15th. It's our largest fundraiser of the year. It's basically a dress up, have a good time, heavy hors d'oeuvres, drinks, and a live auction with some really incredible auction items. It helps support the nearly 250 animals we have in the shelter at this time. It also helps to subsidize our low-cost spay-neuter program we have for citizens who want to get their animals spayed or neutered but can't afford to pay the full price.
Facilities-wise and staffing-wise, how are you all doing?
We're doing well. We're very busy. We're very full. As usual, we had a really large adoption event celebrating our founding in 1935 a couple weeks ago. Every animal adoption fee was reduced to $19.35, and we had a record 35 adoptions in one day.
One day?
One day. The month before, we had 36 in the whole month, so it shows you the difference. The community really came out and supported us, and so we're keeping busy with adoptions, spaying and neutering, and working hard on building our new shelter as well.
Well, you know you always have a place here on the Means Report. You're good to us not only because you come and share your expertise, but because you make the drive, and I'm very grateful to you for that, and I remain grateful for what you do for animals in Aiken.
Thank you very much, Brad.
Thank you. Gary Willoughby with the Aiken SPCA. Go to the Fur Ball. That's going to be a fun night. When we come back on the Means Report, we want to share some information about how you can shape our future editions. And before we do that, well, no, stay tuned. I'll tell you a couple of things about pit bulls that I promise you didn't know. I've left just enough time to do that when we come back.